Hey guys, Jarrod D here. I just wanted to start this episode off by saying how sorry I am that this is late, number one, and number two, my mic was off during this episode, so I had to kind of like double up on my audio. So the audio is not at the best place. But just thank you for sticking with me, and it's still going to be an enjoyable episode. So yeah, just please forgive me for some of the mess ups here. But yeah, I think you're still gonna enjoy it. So have fun. Welcome to the BoyFriends podcast, where we help you find your circle
and your man.
I'm Jarrod D. I am here with Noel and Greg, and we have Renee back for this episode.
We missed you, girl.
Hello.
I know. And we also have a special guest, Susan Mitchell of Be Single No More. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
It is so nice to have you. So we are going to talk today about dating fatigue. But first, why don't you let us know a little bit about you and Be Single No More?
Sure. So Be Single No More is a Philly-based and LGBTQ plus speed dating singles company. Like I said, in the Philly area. I started in 2018, and I've had about 113 speed dating events.
Wow.
And a couple singles parties mixed in. And they're a lot of fun, great way to meet new people, and I really enjoy, hosting them.
Yeah. No, I've been to two of them actually, and I really enjoyed the ones that I've been to. And I still don't have a man, so I'm gonna have to be coming back very soon.
Come back. It's new people. I get return business, but also always new faces, which is always exciting. People that move to the area or move back. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a structured way to meet people. You don't have to approach anybody. I ever like 5-minute dates and rounds. So
all right, well, we're gonna get a little bit more information about Be Single No More as we continue this episode. But Renee, why don't you give us a little update on what's been going on?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, not too much anything like new. Just moved to Fishtown about 6 months ago. Really enjoying it. I only have like 3 friends left in my life, which honestly, I'm like not even that mad about. I've just been keeping my peace, and as always, eating as much cheese pizza as I can get.
Well, look, it's interesting because we had that episode about like friendship breakups and stuff. So you've kind of had a little bit of a of a shift.
I've definitely had some friendship breakups, and now the exes are trying to come back into my life, and it's kind of weird.
Okay. Right.
It lets you know that you weren't the problem. If
you.
More than one is coming back to you, I'm just saying there's something there.
Like honestly, even with like whether it's like friends or relationships,
We're neighbors.
Wait, what?
That's an inside joke. Well, we'll get to that at some point.
We'll get to that. Yeah, well, all the exes seem to always come back, so you're right. I am not the problem.
Sure. So.
Oh, the shade.
So anyway, let's get into our topic. Have you experienced, and are you experiencing dating fatigue?
So, like, how would you define dating fatigue? I think that would be a good way to start, just so we can all make sure we're on the same page.
Well, my understanding of it is, and Susan, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong or if you have like a different viewpoint, but dating fatigue is like you go out on so many dates, stuff never really picks up, and after a while it just feels like, well, why am I doing any of this? And well, I might as well just not even be trying or something like that. I mean, would that pretty much sum it up, do you think, Susan?
absolutely. Most people that come to my speed dating, a lot of them have been doing the online dating or even blind dates and things. And it's just, they spend a lot of time and energy trying, even attempting to go out on the first date to get people in person. And that's why speed dating is great, because everybody's in person. There's no, you meet 20 people in a night. That would take months to do that through online dating and the back and forth conversation. And, people get concerned about who people really are in person. So they just want to try something different. And that's absolutely what dating fatigue is.
Yeah. And so I will say that I think I have experienced that before, where I'll go out with people once in a while. It always ends at a first date. It never really ends up being anything, past that. And it gets frustrating. And then you feel like, well, maybe something's wrong with me, or, there's a danger of getting into that self-talk. Have you guys experienced that at all? Or I know you're not currently dating or looking for anyone, or like.
I've never actively. Oh yes. So for new viewers, I am actively single. Not actively single. I am single. I'm not necessarily actively looking to date, but I'm not opposed to dating. I'm kind of in a like I'm doing me. I'm focusing on myself, my needs. It's the best. I'm taking the time. That being said, like for me, it wasn't like exhaustion in the way that you had it. A lot for me, like I feel like I actually don't go on a lot of dates, to be honest. Like I have a hard time getting to the date. For me, when I was on like dating apps like Hinge and stuff, like I have a very active, my frustration and exhaustion is like that people just don't respond, or when they do, they don't carry a conversation. For me, I initiate, I would say 99% of messages. I will match, because I'm not there to sit and collect matches. And my kind of formula, if you will be, I will always initiate the message. I will find something in their profile to relate to or comment on, send that, and then end with a question, because then it prompts them. I know people are just like flying through and not reading. I'm not gonna fault people if they're not reading my profile, but at least when you see we match, then maybe it's a good time to take a look and be like, okay, maybe we weren't a match. Unmatch me, that's fine. But like I would say 9 out of 10 messages I send when I was on apps, I would not get responses on. And I was like getting frustrated, because I was like, I know I'm putting effort into this. I'm not just saying, hey, I'm trying to find something about you to connect to, and then also prompting you to respond to me with a question. And like, that's too much. So I've definitely gone through waves of like, I'm ready to, I'll do that. And then I get exhausted. I'm like, this is not worth it. It's not leading any efforts. I will delete or get off. And then maybe in another 6 months to a year, I may be like, okay, it's time to get back on. Like maybe I'm in a good headspace. And then it's the same thing every time.
Are those like new gays in the city that moved in?
Yeah.
So Susan, like, what have you heard, or what has been your experience with like the like dating apps, and like, do people like, and like how does speed dating provide like a solution to the constant messaging and not really getting anywhere?
Yeah, everything, that exactly what you said, where it's a matter of the back and forth online, staring at screens, match, all that. When you're in person, you have that instant communication. And a lot of, attendees that come, some of them are just like getting back in the dating scene. Maybe they were newly, single, or they're not really sure, they just want to meet people. And we do speed friending events too for the LGBTQ plus, speed friending for those that are just want to, even stay single, but meet friends and see what happens. So I definitely agree with everything you're saying with the dating apps, are an option. A lot of people do meet people through there, but the speed dating is it's different because it's still in person. You're talking to people 5 minutes, and nothing's going to beat that instant spark communication. And it's just a very special way of meeting people. It really is. When you see it and when you experience it, you can even being in the presence as a host, watching people come out of their shells, smiling. There's a lot of energy you can't get through a computer or through a phone that you can in person.
So then is it just then a 5-minute like appearance thing at this point? Like how much can you possibly know in 5 minutes from someone?
From speed dating?
Yeah.
I don't think, maybe Susan, you should answer that.
Yeah.
Appearance is, with part of dating, appearance is going to, matter, sexual attraction, appear. That is a part of dating. That's how it is when people are on Tinder or Hinge, swipe, you just see their picture. But like, that's the first few seconds. But then you get into 30 seconds or a minute, you hear how the person talks, you see, their gestures, and even a few questions or an exchange. I think 5 minutes, you can tell if this is somebody that you want to know more about, and you put yes, or you might at the end say, would you like to go get a drink? It's like a pre-date. I feel you get that vibe in 5 minutes. I think it's even like studies 30 seconds, and you can really, know, if this is a spark.
As I said, I've done the speed dating before, I personally am somebody who enjoys meeting people in person as opposed to trying to find dates online. The online thing just does not work for me. The texting, and I don't know. I just feel like when you go to like a speed dating or something like that, the pressure is off. It's just, we know it's only going to be 5 minutes, and it's just, let's just have a quick conversation, even if, you know, we're not necessarily physically attracted to each other. We can at least have a pleasant conversation and maybe walk away with a friendship. So I mean, I think that it's a good.
I was like, I think you're ugly, but I think you're a nice person.
So mean.
It's also a networking, like you learn things. Maybe I've had where they're not a match, but they know people that might be like, oh, my brother, my sister, my neighbor, so it's just getting out there. And even for the speed friending, you know, you can still, you know, talk to people, you know, that's even more, you know, because that's your meeting friends. So that's nice, you know, and you still can know, like, is this somebody that you enjoyed these 5 minutes? It seemed like you had things in common. So 5 minutes can be long or short, but it's longer than sometimes people think. I mean, 5 minutes you can learn a lot about somebody and like, wow, that was a nice conversation.
What do you do when you're in this state of dating fatigue and someone tries to date you or pursue you? Somebody's interested. Like you're kind of in a place where you're like, I'm really not interested in dating, like it's just not working, but then somebody new comes along and it's like, hey, let's go have a drink. Like, what's your response to that?
I'll let you know when someone pursues me.
Oh.
Is it like that for you, Kendall?
I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, like, I feel like I'm always the initiator. That's my experience.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or
Carlos was mine.
someone I'm absolutely not interested in.
Okay. Got you.
I'm like, that's nice.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
I feel like I'm usually the initiator as
Yeah.
well. I don't know if that's just a strong personality thing or.
Well, that's not a bad thing to be an initiator. I mean, you make things happen in your life, no matter if it's dating or not. I mean, some people are the ones that are that always reach out after they get matches. They reach out. You know, you got to make things happen. So I don't think being an initiator is always.
No, not at all. And I think that, I mean, you have to go after what you want. And we kind of talked about this a little bit in earlier podcasts, like just the tech of it all. Like, I feel like changes some people's like ability to like communicate in person. Like, I feel like people don't talk in like bars the same way they used to. People are scared to go up to each other. So I think even with dating, it's come to like, well, I'm going to like wait and let someone like find me. You know what I mean? I feel like for some people, they've lost or never learned the ability to kind of do that in person. So any substantial match I've ever made has been maybe through Instagram, but has been in person. Has it not been like through a dating app or Grindr or anything like that? Yeah. It's been, you know, in that first couple minutes, like whether or not you want to keep talking to them or not. So
You can't only know so much through a screen.
And that's the hard thing. It's like getting from the text, like even like, let's say we've magically found somebody that we have a texting communication with. Now the
Textual
trick is,
chemistry.
yeah,
Textual chemistry.
Textual chemistry, yes. And now the trick is to get us into the real world, and I feel like that's another hurdle, at least for online dating. And I know I sound like anti-online dating at this point, but then that's not the case. But it's just like
I'm pretty
really
anti-online dating too.
I
feel like online dating makes it even like more fatiguing at a point. Like, it's because you're just like you said earlier, of just like always like reaching out and like waiting for them to answer and then setting up a time, and then like you finally set up a time and you go on the first date and it's like not even that lit
If they don't cancel.
yeah, if they don't even cancel. Yeah, exactly.
should
But
we
you
just
put
date?
that all away when you're at the
Yeah.
speeding. And it's also nice to be, like Jarrod can even say, when you're there, these, you know, everybody that came out are generally looking, you know, they bought a ticket, they came to this venue, you know, to meet somebody. They're not just at home swiping.
Yeah.
They really, you know, got, especially the post-COVID world, to actually leave your house, get dressed, go to an event. Like, wow, they're committed to, you know, at least meet new people. They're open, you know, they're single, you know, and I think that's sometimes half of it.
Absolutely.
They're there with intention.
Yeah, which is a lot different than sitting at home, you know, on the toilet swiping on Tinder.
Is that like an
I
activity you
wasn't
do?
sitting on the toilet.
Well, if you
Swiping
swipe
on
while
Tinder.
shitting, you're gonna date shit.
You're just welcoming.
I was
the
in my
shit.
garden.
That was in my garden.
I
I was in my garden.
I was. I was on Tinder and just like in my garden, and Carlos was like, "Hi."
Oh, that's how you met
Oh,
Carlos?
how peaceful.
Yeah, I was just like, I had it there. I wasn't.
Well, that's fantastic.
Kid, good for you.
Good for
Wow.
Good for ya.
I seem to come off a certain type of way for Noel.
We know.
I'm sorry if you were offended by what I said.
No.
My other question was going to be like, if you are feeling the fatigue and the right person comes along, are you still going to be like, no?
I wouldn't say no.
I
I'd just be
wouldn't.
cautious.
I don't think that I would say no. It'd be a very cautious yes.
I'm very
of, like,
cautious.
Yeah, very cautious. Like, okay.
I dated this guy once. I was cautious for a while, for like 2 months, and because I never actually dated anyone, I was then felt disappointed after knowing that like he didn't know what he wanted after 2 months, to give the excuse like, oh, I'm not really wanting a boyfriend right now after 2 months, and then gave me a whole sad story that like he was leaving, and then I find him still here.
Oh.
That's okay.
I found him still here in the city.
Oh my goodness.
So that was something else then. That was... He maybe knew what he wanted. He just decided after 2 months.
'Twas not me.
I'm trying to find a nice way to say that. 'cause
No,
it sounds like that what the situation was.
'Twas not I. I'm like, that's
I
completely
just like I
fine.
hate that because then like you get dating fatigue set in before you even like try to look for someone else. Like, oh, okay, that ended, and you're just like oh my, it's like the fear of dating fatigue almost.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like you could be cautiously optimistic with, I think that is the thing, like, you get so excited after one meeting or one date, like you get a match. I mean, it's very exciting, but I think sometimes people get too excited. Like, you know, it's nice, but you shouldn't put all your hopes and dreams in a one person. Get to know them more, still focus on you, and don't get yourself all wrapped up in the other person
I
or
used
the
to do that a lot.
relationship. And that's where I think a lot of it, you know, if the other person can't meet that excitement, like you, until it's really been a while. Like I know friends or even attendees where they get like a third date and it's like all the, you know, all in, and it becomes a little too much too fast.
Yeah. And that's me. And I am trying. I will not do that anymore. That is my commitment for 2024.
That's good.
It's like, you know, I've learned that I've had to be an intentional dater, but I also have to be fun, and I have to not be so serious. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that sometimes, like, if I'm excited about somebody and I'm like trying to, you know, check all the boxes, you can't necessarily do all that and like nurture a new relationship. You kind of want to keep it fun as possible in the beginning stages.
Is your personality when someone's meeting you as a friend versus someone's meeting you as a date the same person? I feel like those are two different people.
You feel like I'm different meeting a friend versus dating.
Yeah. What are you?
I don't know. I might be. I don't know. I think with meeting new friends, I don't expect anything aside from just the general like mutual respect for each other. There is no expectation of I have to text you every day, or I have to do this, or I have to do that in order to, you know, be in a relationship, you know. And I feel like with dating, a lot of people feel pressured to, you know, send a good morning text, or, you know, every moment has to be about this other person that I just met last week, and it's just not realistic. So to answer your question, no, I don't think I am the same person, but I am trying to be the same person.
Yeah.
See, that's what we want to
That's
hear.
what we
We
wanna
got to
hear.
make sure that we're
It's
getting
co-
the growth.
It's
The growth is
it's
there.
consistent throughout all across the board.
It's
All
good you
across the
recognize
board.
that though and see that, because with the speed friending versus the speed dating, you know, they ask, you know, I hear, you know, from people that have done both, you know, it's different because they're asking, you know, it's more with friends, you don't have to always agree, you know, you just want to go out for a drink. You don't have to agree on everything. Like but when you're dating, you know, do they want children? You know, you have to get more involved with the other person. You know, what are they looking for? You know, more about them personally versus a friend. It's more just like, oh, we can go get a drink. You know, you don't have to be so, they're just another person, which is great. But I feel like it is more casual with the speed friending. They're not with the dating is a different level because it could be your person.
Could someone handle that in the same way as dating, to be kind of casual about it? Because it could manifest into something else later on if it's not so much pressure on it.
I think people should do come into the speed. I think at first people always seem nervous, attendees, and they put a lot of pressure. Like they want to get a match, they want people to like them. And then when I say like, oh, you're just meeting everybody for 5 minutes, it's yes or no. It's I try to make people comfortable, casual, their conversations. You see at the end, the pressure, people are having fun, they're talking. They're like, oh, after they did 1 or 2 meeting, pre-dates, the pressure does go away. It's a casual setting. It's not this intense. And they realize, oh, it doesn't have to be. Dating can be fun. Like, Jarrod, you've been to the events. You see, like, they're fun. Absolutely. It's not so intense. And that's what it should be. Like you just said, like, it doesn't have to be so bottled and emotional. Like, you can still treat the person. Like my sister met her fiance. They were friends first, really. They met online, but they really became friends. First, they only saw each other every couple of weeks. They were very casual, like just friends. They built a really solid foundation. They didn't just become immediately coupled up and all intense. They would go like days without sometimes talking to each other, and that was fine. It was not so, and I think that is something that, like Jarrod was saying, it's not so intense so fast.
I mean, I see it.
My bad. I don't do that. I don't do that.
As you said, there'll be days without texting. Renee gave me a look, and I was like, yeah. I mean,
there's a reason that I'm on a break right now, so.
No, but I feel like, I have trouble with that sometimes. I feel like, okay, should I text them today to, like, let them know that, I'm still interested or that I'm still here? Like, it's not necessarily, like, my intention of, like, texting somebody, even if it's, like, in quick succession, prior has been, I'm thinking about you, I'm invested, not like completely invested, but like, I'm here, I'm interested, and let's keep the line of communication open. And I feel like that can come off as like
needy.
Yeah, just like a little bit like,
Yeah, I feel like we both have like anxious attachment style.
Oh, absolutely.
You should text with a purpose. If you talked about something at the speed date or at a date, and you heard a song or you brought up a conversation or something, and you text with a purpose and say, oh, I just heard that song, or, oh, follow up on that, what we were discussing. It's not just like good morning or I'm thinking of you so early on. It's more, there's a purpose behind my text. Like, oh, just wanted to tell you I found that on Amazon, or like, or I found what we were discussing, that is happening next weekend. Like, even to tell them about an event, like, I'm going to this if you want to come.
That's really great advice.
I think that's like key advice, actually, because texting with a purpose is.
I don't do that sometimes, so thank you.
You don't?
There's a purpose.
Like, I feel like in my head there's a purpose, but I'm pretty sure to like the person receiving my text is just like,
well, what?
Like, have you ever heard that TikTok sound where that kid is just like, last night I had a dream that I was ketchup and you were mustard, which is weird because usually you're mayonnaise in my dreams. That's me.
But I want to get those texts from you.
That's literally me.
But that's maybe a little later on in the maybe not like the second date. Like, that's cute. But I mean that's cute later on. And there's something like, I think some people overthink too. Like, again, if you're putting effort and the other person's not, you have to recognize that. You do it to give or take. If the person's not texting you at all, or not, saying one word answers, taking a long time to reply, then it's like you tried. And I think that's great. Then you can't say you didn't come off as interested,
Susan,
you made an effort.
I have a question for Susan. Yeah. Susan, is there a difference between like trying to make up a reason to text someone for like intentional? Like, what can I possibly say to like get him to think that I'm thinking about him? Like, is it natural at this point to just like?
Yeah.
Well, I think like that's why even at the speed dating or when you're on a date, that's why like active listening, trying to, don't just talk about general stuff. Try to really think about, hear the person, listen, not just think about your response, listen to them, get to know them, just not so just general conversation, like, what music, even it doesn't have to be deep stuff, just like music, movies. So this way you have follow-up text to say like, just to say like, oh, I watched that movie recommendation, and then maybe you can talk about the movie in the text thread, or I read that book. It shows that you listen to them, they recommended that, and now you have like a dialogue. It's not just going back and forth like I'm thinking of you, like, and that's nice, but it's like now you're having a text conversation, and it's not intense. It's about a movie or a show, but you're having that connection, and you both are feeling it.
So do you think that like maybe asking the right questions and actively listening can sometimes help get you out of that dating fatigue, so it can seem more fun and like less of like a chore to find your person?
Yeah, it is, because it's like you just are building a friendship, a foundation. Yeah. You can, when you talk about anything with somebody, the weather, movies, you can see their view on stuff just based off of even a generic question. You can learn so much, how they interpreted something. Maybe you both watch the same show, but you can interpret it, and you can get to know that person through. And there's so many signs. And it's just, I have, because I do dating coaching too from a lot of my attendees before, on Zoom, and they do good morning every day, but they don't follow up with anything, else. Like it's fine the next, to say it was nice meeting you, or I see we got a match, this is great, like, and say, oh, would you like to, go grab a drink? I mean, that person said yes, why not? Or if there is a festival, or there is an event or a concert, but then you let it go. You don't have to go. If you have a date set for a couple days from now, you might not have to text them again. You have a date set in a couple days. You have another, it doesn't have to be every day like, oh, looking forward to our date. You don't have to do that. You're going to see them at the date. And then, you just have to take it easy. I think when people say looking forward to our date and like, oh, what are you doing now? And all that, it's too much.
I think it's the same thing with friendships too. When you meet new friends, like me and my partner are trying to find new couples to like hang out with. So like, I feel that's a good advice to like not having to day by day be like, hey, excited to get together, blah, blah, blah. What are you wearing tomorrow? It's like we can just wait until we actually meet up to just like talk.
And even at the LGBTQ plus speed friending, couples will come to meet other couples. Mm-hmm. They rotate with, the couples got one sheet, and they can rotate, or they can go separate if they want to meet friends. But that's even with it's with anybody. Give people some breather. It doesn't, just because we text and it's easy doesn't mean it has to be like constant. People have their own lives, they have own things going on. This might just be, like, oh, I like that person, but it doesn't have to be the whole day.
So what got you into this business with Be Single No More, and I guess the dating coaching as well?
Yeah, so my sister went to a speed dating years ago, and I just thought like, wow, like that's an actual thing in real life. Like I just always saw it on TV, and I did work for a few other Philly companies, but they did a lot 20s and 30s, heterosexual in the city. Mm-hmm. That's their market. That's fine. I knew that there were other people that wanted to date, other ages, LGBTQ plus, other areas. So I'm like, I'm just going to start my own company, and let's get everybody, to find friendship, love. It's, that's fine. They're doing that, but I'm going to start my own. And it's been great, just to find, even at the, like I say, like the gay community, like it's harder I feel for them, because you don't always know who is a lesbian, who is bisexual, who is gay. So when you're at these events, it's very nice. They see all the men or the women. Wow, everybody's interested in dating, interested in women. And if it's an age specific, we know they're all under 40, or we know they're over 40. So to meet like 15 people that night, or 20 people that are, looking for what you're, came to an event, it's a special event. To find that, because there's so many I hear where they were interested in somebody, but they weren't gay, or they weren't open to dating. They were already coupled up, and they'll say, oh, he's here. He goes to my gym, and I didn't know he was gay. This is great. Now I didn't have to add, it's just, that's a very special thing as well, where it's.
Yeah, it helps. It breaks down a barrier of communication that you outside of that would be a little bit harder to kind of cross. But I also feel like there is, I don't know if stigma is the right word, but there's a little bit of a like I will say, like when I told friends, oh, I'm going speed dating next week, there's always like this, oh, you're what? Oh, that's interesting. It's like, it's interesting, but it's also, it's something I wouldn't do, but it's like, it's one of those. So what is your response to people who kind of have that reaction to speed dating?
I think it's unfortunate that there is, because that's how it was with online dating too when it first came out. Like, oh, you made an online dating profile, or even before that, when people put ads in the newspaper, we're like, oh, I think it's unfortunate because I'm always so proud of people that came out and came to an event. Like, I have friends that are single and they complain, but I'm like, oh, what are you doing to meet people? Oh, I'm not doing anything this weekend. They didn't make any effort to do it. If you came to a speed dating and you didn't get any matches, okay. So nobody here, but you at least tried. You had a night out. You saw a venue. You met people. You have to try it. It's fun. I don't understand the stigma with it really, because they're like, who comes to these events? People will say that. And people looking to date.
Yeah, pretty much.
People looking to date or meet friends. That's who comes.
Exactly.
If I went to your event and I met Jarrod, say we met each other, right?
Like a speed friending?
Whatever.
Okay.
Let's say I was single.
Sorry.
Jesus. we and Jarrod and I hit it off. What's the next step after? Like, who do we tell? Like, hey, I think I like this guy over here. Like, what happens after the fact?
So I give everybody a paper, and you put your name and your email on if you would like to provide your phone number. And you write down everybody you meet, and then there's a column that says yes or no, and you put, Y or N, yes or no, and you could have there's a notes column where, you're meeting a lot of people. If you want to, make notes about what you discussed or something to remember them by, you hand in that paper at the end of the night, and then later that evening or first thing in the morning, I email out matches. So, if you pick Jarrod and Jarrod picked you, you would get each other's name, email, number, emailed to you. And some people have all their matches, some people get one or two, some people, and it depends how many you've picked. Like if you're only picking one person, that happens too, where they're like, oh, I didn't get any matches. And if you hear that from somebody, well, how many did they pick? They might have met 15 people and they only picked one person. So they didn't get any matches, but they also only picked one person. Right. And it's fine, if you only connected with one person, that's fine. But, again, you really need to, think like a little, like, is there maybe somebody you thought you could have another date with, or, keep yourself a little open-minded and not just be like, because it's only 5 minutes too. Yeah. So you shouldn't be. So when I see there's only like one person they pick, like that's fine. But I think out of 20 people, there was only one.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I feel like that would be me. I feel like you'd be like,
one or none. Like some people don't pick any, and it's like,
I'm gonna be honest. That has happened to me.
What?
I was that person, but I'm gonna be better next time.
Yeah.
Why?
Be better.
And you don't have to pick everybody though. Like some people pick everybody, or they pick a million people. I'm not saying that.
It's probably be more open.
Like you don't have to pick people just to pick them. But I think, like, to just kind of think a little bit, because you met so many people. Like, why weren't you? Because I feel like everybody. I mean, I'm not on the, but like, seems like great people. Enough. Yeah. To at least meet, like I'm not saying marry them, but like to just have another date.
Yeah. I think part of it for me at that point was like, okay, do I see any kind of romantic relationship after this? And my answer to a lot of that was no. Did I meet some great people there? Yes. And would I have been open to having a drink with them afterwards? Yes, absolutely. But I think maybe if I were doing speed friending, I would have matched up with a lot more people. But I think my mentality.
Do you like when you see someone, you're like, I can't see myself marrying this person? You jump right. You can start doing like a whole fortune thing. Like you jump so far, like I don't see it.
Yeah.
Same. Jarrod, we need to stop. We're bad people. We're bad people.
We will look together in our wedding portraits together.
It's like, I don't think you should view it as like, am I going to marry this person? I think would I like to continue the conversation? Would I and you see them as you get to know people, their appearance might I mean, this has happened, to me where I didn't think they were for, but then you start to get to know them, their personality, your compatibility. It's like, you see them in a different lighting, in a different outfit, like hairdo.
I've met people where I don't think I would ever find them to be my type, but as I started to talk to them, like, wow, there's
They
something.
open their mouth.
They open their mouth.
I was not. I was
What
not
are
being
we
inappropriate
saying
for
now?
once.
Where are we going?
No, because I think
Keep it PG.
we talked about that. Like, I think it can
Yeah.
it can change
I'm
your
like, there's
attraction to a person.
Like, he's not
I'd rather
my
date
type,
a six.
but there's something about him that I find very charming, very interesting, and that makes me want to like get to know them more.
But you can be a 10 and have no personality. I don't have time
For
for that.
real.
I'm not interested.
For real.
Or they're not a nice person, or
Yeah.
they're
Yes.
No.
Or they're rude to waiters.
They're rude to waiters.
and
They tip
you
15%.
dial it down a little bit. Looks are important,
But
but
that's
they're not everything.
they're going away.
Absolutely.
If someone matches for like, this person has like 5 matches, right, in one event, how do they then handle all those matches? Do they have to now schedule their own dates, or do you like help them schedule that?
So I was just at our night out and I saw Jarrod there on Tuesday, and I saw
I was
one
supposed
of
to
the
go.
attendees from a gay men event the week before, and he got like 5 matches. And I said, "Oh, how's it going?" He's like, "I've been scheduling. I don't help after I send out the papers. My part is over unless they did want any dating coaching to help, continue on that journey." But he's like, "Yeah, I've been busy. I've been out every night this week."
It's expensive.
Yes.
That sounds so expensive. Dating is so
I have a
expensive.
second date with them, or I have a second date with them, but just they're new to the city. I mean, they're very, it's great. One of them maybe, I think, turned into more of a friendship, but he's happy about that. Like, great, I made a friend, and they have a second date going, and it's just 5 people to date. Like, it's versus an online dating where he's been on a year and he's never had 5 dates. So, you hear, I mean, it's great. I mean, now they have all these, and it doesn't have to be these long dates. It might be just an hour, grab a lunch date, coffee, It doesn't have to be this whole thing. That's another thing.
Do you
with dating. It doesn't
recommend-
have to be like a 3-hour date.
Do you recommend someone that maybe they have like 5 dates a week? If someone's like on a penny pinch, what are ways to like avoid spending too much money on like all these dates just to get to know someone?
Well, I think like a lunch date. I think grabbing coffee. I think a drink. I think, maybe even going to a festival, it doesn't even have to be like some restaurant. Like, oh, I'm going to this festival. I'm going to this cool poetry reading or this class, like something different, where, and you do just maybe grab something casual. I think those are like the best dates. You grab some hot dogs, you grab a drink. It doesn't have to be like some 4-course meal.
Right.
So, I have a follow-up question to that, Susan. What are your thoughts about people who think like they need like a formal date or nothing? Like if someone's like says, "Oh, I want to grab a coffee or I want to grab a drink," and in their mind they read that as like, "Oh, well, they're not that serious in me. This is just like a pre-date or a test date to see if they want to." You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, if you met them online dating or even at a speed dating and they want to go grab coffee or a drink, I mean, I don't think there's anything, wrong with that. Like, it's not like if it's somebody you met at work and you have had coffee with that person a lot or you've had a drink with them a lot, then you might want to do a little bit more for a date because you've really known them for like a year or they're a friend of yours and keep it going. But if it's just somebody you met online dating or you met at a speed dating, why do they have to take you to the chart, house or Olive Garden? Like, and if they are doing that, then it's kind of like, well, aren't you trying to get to know me?
Yeah.
And not like, what's the difference? Like, if I matched with somebody and they wanted to go get coffee or even take a walk, it's about getting to know. I don't care about the location. Let's try to get to know each other. That's the exciting part. Not going to a fancy restaurant. And you say a lot about that. Like, okay, so we can't go to Olive Garden or a Chart House. Like, I just want to grab some coffee. I just want to take a walk. Like, let's. Like, why does it have to be so?
It should be laser tag.
It's unfortunate that does happen.
No, I mean, I also think like it's like we should try to lean into more like experiences versus just going out to dinner. Like, I feel like that.
I've done grocery shopping together.
I think that is.
I did like
unique. I think that actually
did like
could be interesting.
I did like this. I do my grocery shopping on Sundays. So do you. Let's go meet up at Wegmans and go shopping.
I would know. Seriously, my dream first date, like, I need to see if you can take down a bunch of 10-year-olds and laser tag. Like, I need to see if you have any mercy or not.
On
Honestly,
shopping, you learn a lot about somebody. If you go to Target with somebody, you know a lot about how they
Yeah.
shop or
Yeah.
in the real world. I don't want to just go to sit at a restaurant.
I've done groceries and clothes shopping with people to see what their aesthetic is, what the kind of fashion they like, the food they like, and then there's a lot of conversation comes with that stuff. So
We see a lot at a store. Like you can have a lot of conversations.
Like, ooh, I like that
at a
too.
store or festival.
Right.
oh my body.
you'll find out if they're gluten-free or dairy-free.
Or vegans.
Or vegan. Oh, no.
Or Disney person.
Okay, so as we're closing to the end of this episode, I do want to ask everyone their one little line of advice to somebody who may be dealing with dating fatigue. What can they do about it? What would be the what do you think they should do in order to get out of that space or to deal with that space?
I would say be consistent. The way you approach meeting friends, you should approach it to dating, because eventually you are meeting your friend first, and then you grow into a relationship. That's what I did, and we've been together for 4 years now. So I didn't have any high or low expectations. I let it happen naturally. If I were meeting a friend, eventually, yes, there is a connection there. There is attraction, but I did it in a way that I made sure I wasn't gonna put too much into it. I was kind of afraid, but I allowed myself to let that person show me to be consistent, and with communication, just make me feel more comfortable just approaching it in a way that I wasn't too much in my head about. I was just yeah, we're gonna see each other tomorrow. Awesome. Then one thing led to another, and then here we are. Mm-hmm. It's just you can't lose hope if you're looking for love. And it's gonna happen when it happens. It's so cliche to say it happens when you least expect it, which is true. But at the same time, it also won't come to you if you're not open to it with a third eye either. Mm-hmm. So just be more open to it, and maybe just listen to people speak versus looking at what they look like, because they might look the first thing you see is attraction in their face and whether they're wearing whatever, but some people are even hot or not nice people.
Well, I guess first and foremost, if you're fatigued, the best thing to do is take a break. You gotta take care of yourself before you can kind of throw yourself into a relationship. So I think be aware of that first and foremost. But I know for some people it's a confidence thing. If whether you're doing it online or you're doing it in person, some people are don't want to approach a situation because of fear of rejection. My thing is in my head, if I don't talk to them, they're telling me no. So the worst thing they can do is tell me no in person. I have nothing lost. So, I would encourage people to take that step, initiate it, because not everyone's going to. And like I said, obviously you can't in person as much, but online, if there's something about them that you can connect with, try to lead with that. That way it shows the person that you're actually interested in them. Maybe they're in an Eagles jersey, and I'm oh, so you like the obviously that's a terrible example, but do you know what I mean? I come and oh, I really love this blazer, where did you get it? And you know what I mean, just try to connect with something other than hey or sup or thought you were cute.
Right. I think my advice would kind of line up with what you guys have said. Definitely take care of yourself if you're in a space of feeling dating fatigue, but I also feel when you finally get ready to date again, kind of go in with a strategy or go in with something to tweak so that you don't get back into that space.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Nasty.
Noelle is coming for me today.
I'm not coming for her.
Yeah.
I'm not.
No, it is. For me personally, it has been I'm going to be a little bit more fun and easy breezy. I'm going to attempt to, because I can be very intense sometimes, but I'm going to try to let things happen and let it be what it is and just enjoy the moment and not try to direct a situation in a certain way. Yeah. So I think that, that's been my work, and that'll be me moving forward.
Honestly, yeah, no, I with what everyone said, if you're feeling fatigued, definitely take a break, focus on you, which is like I know people hate hearing that sometimes though. It's like, oh, just focus on yourself because it's like so generic, but like sometimes you kind of do.
Sometimes it's what you need to do.
Sometimes it really is like what you need to do, and just, like at the same time, be open. If it happens, it happens. And when you're ready to jump in, try to have a different perspective. Like don't just focus like, okay, well last time this is what went wrong. Maybe focus on like, okay, well what went right last time? Like maybe I should like focus on that, like what went right, and kind of maybe lean into that a little bit better.
Susan, do you have any final thoughts as to like maybe helping somebody that's feeling a little bit of this dating fatigue?
Yeah, everything you said was excellent. Like everything you said, like think about what you did right, but also recognize what, it's a give and take. It's a two-person. There was things you could have improved, like Jarrod says, not going to be as intense, or I think that's great to recognize that, because number one, yes, you do have to focus on yourself and your mindset, fatigue, but at the same time, be ready and be open, to still meet people, maybe take a break from the dating, but ready to meet friends, network, go out, and still might meet somebody through that, still always connection, getting out, meeting people, but then to recognize like, okay, catch yourself, or maybe have, it's like a friend to like, watch what, even early on, like, oh, am I being too intense? We always have, sometimes a friend or somebody like, another set of eyes, is this, you think, good to get a dating coach, go to a relationship therapist, see, take that extra step with all that and see where you don't want to go down that same path. But I think just being open, not get so in your head, just because you're going to a speed dating or even an online dating, don't like, I have to meet my person tonight, or this is it, like I'm done. It's just another event. It's another way to socialize and meet people, and just and looks aren't everything. Like I said, keep an open mind, and it's all about connection.
So what's coming up for Be Single No More? Like what events are coming up, and what can people look forward to?
We have a gay men speed dating every month. We do LGBT. So in April, there will be a gay men speed dating. Check Be Single No More, .eventbrite.com, Facebook, Instagram, Be Single No More @gmail.com. You can always add yourself, say you like to be added to our email list. So we're everywhere on social. I'm happy to add you to my email list. And yeah, we do lesbian speed dating, speed friend, LGBTQ plus speed friending. I offer dating coaching sessions, and we're going to be so April, May, just keep going. Every week we do a bisexual speeding. So every week there's usually something going on. So check our calendar. And
absolutely. And when I upload this episode, I'll put like your most recent your upcoming events in the description, so that people can get a quick link right there to just to see Be Single No More, and maybe they can visit. So thank you so much, Susan, for coming on and enlightening us with your wisdom and telling us about Be Single No More. I know I am definitely going back to I'm doing speed dating with a new attitude.
Yeah.
I need to find a hetero speed dating, because it seems fun.
Yeah, we offer those too. I try to do an event for everybody.
Do you do couples too?
So keep looking. There's always an event. Even people that are relationships, we do the speed friending. So like, even you don't have to be single to come to the speed friending event. You can do it with your partner and go together and meet other couples or friends, or separate, because some people want their own friends too.
Yeah. And I think that would be good for maybe you and Carlos.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to meet other couples.
It is hard,
it's that's something I learned a lot at our night out. There are a lot of couples and they want to meet other couples, and that's why I wanted to offer that. It was actually a recommendation from one of my attendees that said, why don't you do a speed friending? Not everybody wants to date right now, or maybe just wants some connection going on here and likes the concept. So but great meeting all of you. This was a lot of fun.
So much. You too.
And remember, until next time, if you have no one else,
you got us.